Hey guys, and welcome back to a different video actually. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about what I want from a Dragon Ball game. What kind of Dragon Ball game do I want? What's my dream Dragon Ball game? The reason I'm stating this is because we're now coming to the end of a decade, and we can look back on tons of Dragon Ball games that came out, which are all pretty damn good. We had a great decade for Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Super started. We literally had amazing games come out. We had Fighters, we had Xenoverse, we had Xenoverse 2. What else happened? Those are the main known ones. We had Battle of the Gods, everyone's favorite, but in all seriousness, we had a lot happen this decade. And now we're moving into the next one. We're moving into 2020s, and I want to see what Dragon Ball games we are going to get. I don't know what we're going to get, obviously, but this is the stuff that I want. This is what I'd kill for. Just maybe if they're experiments, maybe if they're actual things they're going to do, I don't know. But the things I would love. We're just going to have like a kind of Watch Mojo, like top 10 thing going here, except for way less edited because I'm not that gifted. So the first thing I've always wanted in a Dragon Ball game, which Dragon Ball Z Kakarot might get, is an open world game. I have always wanted an open world Dragon Ball game. I loved when I was a kid playing, I think it was Budokai Tenkaichi 2 or maybe 3, and you had that hub world where you flew above everything. You guys are probably going to have on screen all the stuff I'm talking about, but I loved that factor. I loved being able to fly around, and I remember I even was going to try and make a fan open world, like an open world Dragon Ball game that had that map. I was going to try and make it so I could download that map and then make everything actual real scale and make it all HD and everything like that. And that was in high school. I was working on that, but that also carries over into the next thing I've always wanted. But we'll stick to this for now. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot looks like it might do that. It might deliver us a kind of open world Dragon Ball game that is in Dragon Ball. Like, there are games that do pretty good, like a pretty good job at trying to replicate what I was after, which is Dragon Ball Unreal. That does a pretty damn good job. And then there are also other fan games that try to do it as well. I know there's games like Dragon Ball Online, which isn't technically an open world because it's a giant MMORPG, but that's not what I'm after. I'm after what Kakarot looks like it's doing. The actual full-scale world that you can fly around, land in, walk around, do stuff. Not GTA, not a GTA Dragon Ball. That just sounds stupid, but at the same time, an open world Dragon Ball game where if you wanted to fast travel, for example, you could use instant transmission or something. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot might tick this box for me. And if it does, then it's kicking off 2020 as a great start because it's something I've always wanted. But that's just number one. Moving on to the second thing, this is what I was talking about before. Number two, I have always wanted an actual playable Dragon Ball VR game. I know there are other ones in Japan that you can go to the actual like studio kind of thing and learn to do the Kamehameha with Goku. And I know there's the AR ones as well that I've seen the ads for as well. But I don't want that. I want a Dragon Ball VR game. Whether it's the fact of it is literally a free demo that you could just chuck onto your Oculus or HTC Vive or whatever you've got and just learn to do a Kamehameha in your house, that's fine. That would be awesome. I want that because it's an experience. But I also would kill for an open world VR Dragon Ball game. Now, obviously, there's no such thing as really an open world VR game as of this point. But back in high school, I'll actually try and get the old footage. If there's nothing on the screen currently, ignore me. But I remember I remade Kami's Lookout, Kami's House, and I also remade a few areas of the map, and I made it all to scale. I made everything to scale of what it was in Dragon Ball, and I actually started working on an open world VR Dragon Ball game. Obviously, at the time, I didn't really know how to implement a lot of stuff because I wasn't a game developer, but I think I did pretty well. I implemented a flight system. I managed to get them into the game without lagging like crazy. I managed to get the whole map in-game without it lagging at all. I remember though, this is without any assets or anything on it, and this is before I even knew how to do stuff like how to make stuff not load in when you're far away from it. This was all loaded in at once. So I managed to get that going, and hopefully it's on screen. If not, that's alright, but that was a huge thing that I love doing, and I was going to work on this for ages and release it as a free open world Dragon Ball game, like for VR. That was my goal. But for me, that was during when, for me in Australia, year 12 was kicking in, so it was kind of difficult for me to be able to do that, so I actually had to put it on pause. I still have all the files for it. If I really wanted to, I could probably jump back into that with the current knowledge I have and make a Dragon Ball open world VR game if I really wanted to. Don't get me wrong, it didn't look amazing. It would have been a low poly open world VR Dragon Ball game, but that is what I think could work. If you made it a low poly VR game, even if it's not open world, you could do so much. You can make it, the environments destructible. Like, I have had so many ideas of how you could make Dragon Ball combat work in VR. Obviously, I don't think it would work for multiplayer, because there's just something about having boxing or having something happen in multiplayer that doesn't work for me. There are some games that have done it, but for me, I feel like the physics-based, when you hit someone, like if you guys have seen my recent video on the retro game, I think it was Path of the Warrior, they had a great system which would have worked for a Dragon Ball game. If you swing to the left, it punches them. Even if you did a light swing, it would still punch them at the same kind of strength. So it didn't go off like speed of your fist. But if you hit them in the body, it like pushed them back. And you could do so much. Like if you literally punch in the body and then flicked forward on your stick, you'd dash towards them. And then you could do so many different commands with the controllers and everything. And it would be like fighting in the sky. And obviously it would be a game that people get very sick from. But it's definitely an idea that I've had and would love for. I think it would work perfectly. But we're going to move on to the next thing of what I want. I kind of brought this up before, but I would kill for a Dragon Ball game, whether it's a 2D, 3D, anything, a freaking Dragon Ball game with fully destructible environments. When you start the fight, everything's there, and when you end it, everything could be destroyed, including the ground has craters in it. I know people have released mods for Xenoverse that allow it to so the damage stays, and I know in some of the old games like Budokai Tenkaichi 3 or even Raging Blast, when you knock a building down, the building stays destroyed, which is great. But I would love by actual destructible environments, and I'm talking like proper stuff. Like if you hit someone in the game, in a 3D game, so for example, and say they hit the building, it dints the building, but say you continue and you follow it up and kick them into the building. Let's say you both go flying through that building, and then that top part of the building would slide off and crash to the ground, but the other part of the building would stay. Just something that makes it cool. Something that makes it so you see the damage you're doing to this environment during how powerful these fights are. That would be insane. I'd love that. And I know so many other people that would also love to see that. That would be something that's great. Really, that's really all I want. Like, I mean, if I put all these things together, it would make an insane game. Like an open world, fully destructible environment VR game would be insane. But moving on to the last thing that I'd kill for is this one's kind of weird. This is basically, I love the fast-paced action of Dragon Ball games. I want a Dragon Ball game that represents the factor of, say you're playing, Kakarot looks like it's doing this really well, but say you're playing, and in the show, you're seeing them fly around the screen super quickly, hitting, colliding, huge punches. I want a game like that. I want a game that's fast-paced, and it's pretty easy to play. It's pretty easy to do, but once you master it, it is such... Like, it's basically the old saying, easy to learn but hard to master game. I would love a fast-paced, easy to learn, hard to master game, whether it's 2D, 3D. I find games like Fighters amazing, but I'm not that good at fighting combos. I find games like Budokai Tenkaichi great, and you can do pretty good stuff in that, and then if you master it, it's even more impressive what you can do. But I want the factor, it sounds so stupid, but Kakarot might scratch that itch. But for now, I don't know. Kakarot might be scratching two of these itches for me. Maybe even the fully destructible environments. They have shown a few buildings are destructible. Probably not to the level that I want because I'm very picky. But still, those are just some of the ideas I want. I mean, there are other things that I'd kill for, which is like being able to play through certain parts of Dragon Ball. Like being able to maybe experience what happens during the time of when Goku sacrificed himself during the Cell Saga, up to when you see Gohan again, like how Goten shows up and all that stuff. Like when he shows up, I'd just like to know what happens in that time. Obviously, it's all peaceful, but hey, those are just some little things that I would want. What do you guys want from a Dragon Ball game? What is something you guys have always wanted to see in a Dragon Ball game, or have always wanted for a Dragon Ball game? Let me know in the comment section below. This has just been a weird, different video that I thought I'd do just for the fun of it. And so you guys could just hear what I have wanted for ages now. And hey, maybe we'll get some of these in the next few years. Maybe, because with VR still rising in popularity and only getting more popular because of the Oculus Quest and everything like that, I don't know. We might actually get a Dragon Ball VR game. We might get that Kamehameha experience ported over to Steam one day. I don't know. Open world, we might have that with Kakarot. I mean, they have announced that they are big hub worlds, but it looks like you might be able to travel from each one to each one. If that's the case, I'm going to classify it as an open world. And the fully destructible environments, we've kind of had that for a while now, but like a few developers have stated and come out. I remember, if this is just going to be a little rant thing for a second, but I remember the Dying Light developer came out and stated that he doesn't think we need bigger worlds. He thinks we need a world that is more detailed and more full of life and more stuff to do, which I can completely agree with. If you made a open world Dragon Ball game that's not even that big an open world, say it's definitely not that big as an open world. Let's just say it's, I'm trying to think. Let's just say it is the Dragon Ball Hub area. Let's just say that is it, and when you go to the next one, it loads. Imagine that, but maybe a little bit smaller, but everything in that is either destructible, or there's tons of stuff to do. That would be amazing, and I completely agree with that thing. The fast pace, easy to learn, hard to master, that I honestly think we will get. I think we'll 100% get that with some game in the future. There is going to be some game they will release, because they almost release a Dragon Ball game every single year. Almost. It's like almost every second year now. So I'm 100% thinking, say if it is every second year, say we get 5 more Dragon Ball games, one of those, I think, will be that, and tick that box. But anyway, guys, that's all I'm going to say for this video. I hope you did enjoy it. I know it was a bit different and a bit weird, but let me know in the comment section what you guys want to see, what you guys want, because, yeah, I have some weird things that I want from a Dragon Ball game. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you want to see more videos on Dragon Ball games or other videos kind of like this one, or VR videos, or hell, even Sonic videos, then make sure you go check my channel out. If you've made it this far, clearly I'm not that annoying for you, so make sure you go check me out. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. My name is Troy, and I'll see you in the next video. See you guys.